Think about how many people you know who've tried to get into shape and failed. Think about how many of your friends or family members have started new training programs or new weight loss regimes. Either they're trying to build big muscle or they're interested in losing fat. Either way, they've come to you all excited about their new goals and they show you their program. Often it will involve training 5 days a week at a gym, perhaps for an hour at a time. At the same time, this new training program is going to involve eating 500 fewer calories. How can it possibly fail? Well, I'll tell you how it fails. In fact, I'll tell you how it fails nearly every single time. The problem isn't that the training program isn't good. The problem is they don't stick at it. They have this exciting aim and they're all ready to get going with it, but by week 2, they're already losing motivation. Something important comes up and they have to take a day out of training. Either that or they just get home from work and they're so tired that they have to skip a session. Then they get a cold and that means another week off. And their friends are eating out and they're invited, so they head out to that and they consume 1500 calories in one sitting. So far, so bad. By the end of week 3, they're now back at the position they were in to begin with, and they've made no progress on their diet or their training. This is disheartening, and it's also somewhat embarrassing when people ask them how their fitness is going. So they just kind of brush it to one side and then they pretend it never happened. Until the next program comes along, that is. Now, you're probably very familiar with this story, and in fact, it's probably a story that you've lived yourself a lot of times. The problem is, these training programs are just too ambitious. Taking on a new training program like this takes an incredible amount of dedication and energy. Think about it. Right now, you probably feel like you don't have much time in your life. You probably feel rushed off your feet and you probably have very little energy when you get back in the evenings. This is why you're currently out of shape. It's not for lack of interest or for lack of trying. If it were easy to get into incredible shape, then you'd have done it already. Truth is that life is hard and most of us are struggling just to keep afloat. Here's a quick newsflash, by the way. Time isn't the problem. All of us think that we have a problem with time, but this is almost always untrue. Very often we think we don't have time and that's why we don't get everything done. But if that's true, how come you're able to watch that entire box set of Game of Thrones recently? How come you spent all of last night just lying in front of the television? How come you were able to hit snooze 3 times on your alarm? The problem isn't time, it's energy. Energy is finite, and there's only so much stress and so much work or activity that we can cram into one day before that finite energy begins to run dry. If you're already at your wit's end, if you're already exhausted and stressed, then what makes you think that you can add a workout to the end of your day that's an hour long? And what makes you think that you can drive to the gym to do your workout, and then back, and then shower? There are more things about going to the gym that we don't take into account too. For instance, the cost, and then there's the cold weather. And here's one, all that extra washing. If you go to the gym 5 days a week, then you'll be creating 5 more pairs of dirty underwear and you'll need to wash all those jogging bottoms and tank tops. And you expect to do all this when you already have no energy and you intend to eat fewer calories, giving yourself even less energy? And you wonder why so many training programs fail?